Hi, my name is Allison, and for my behavior change project, I am working with a 16-year-old client with Moby syndrome. Moby syndrome is a rare syndrome that affects primarily the facial nerves. So he has partial blindness. He is unable to talk or speak. He has a tracheotomy, and in addition to paralysis in his face, he has partially paralyzed hands and uses a walker to get around and a G-tube for feeding. Because of these physical impairments, this client uses primarily adapted sign language or an iPad programmed with Proloquo to go in order to facilitate communication. I've worked with this client for about 8 months now, and a couple weeks ago his mom approached me after session with a concern that during the primarily the morning hours that this client has been engaging in what we will call repeated checking behavior. So this client will repeatedly request that mom check certain items that she normally does, but he will do it beyond just one time. So for example, if one of the big concerns is he'll ask to have his tracheotomy tube checked to see if it needs suctioned. So mom may have just checked it 2 or 3 minutes ago. Client will ask again and again and again by signing and gasping, or by using his "Can you check it" icon on his Proloquo. One of the reasons this is so challenging for mom is that she is a very busy mom, and she has a lot of things that she needs to get done around the house: cooking, cleaning, chores. She does work another job, and so sometimes it's not always mom at home. And due to the repeated checking behavior, mom expressed great deals of frustration about not being able to get anything done, and also has been worried the client gets so worked up with this repeated checking behavior that he'll start persistently sweating, and that the behavior will escalate further and further. Upon observation, I determined that this was an attention-seeking behavior, that the behavior was more likely to happen when the client was deprived of mom or caregiver's attention. For example, if mom was cooking breakfast, the instant mom would leave from standing next to him or giving him attention, within about 5 to 30 seconds, the client would start his repeated checking behavior. So as soon as mom starts to cook breakfast or make dinner, then the client will start asking about check his tracheotomy, check these other things. And this is in the absence of other attention. So for example, if I was there working with him on direct skill acquisition, he would not engage in that behavior at the time because he's receiving my attention. So this is actually a new behavior for me to start working with the client for about 8 months now. So this coincided though with the concern that the client is 16 years old, and we are looking at transitioning out of high school within a couple years. The client has very little independent activities that he can do and that he enjoys. He relies and thrives primarily off structure and being continually engaged with teachers, staff, mom, whoever happens to be around. And for the change project, what I'd like to do is use a changing criterion design and make that attention contingent upon his completion of independent activities following a period of where he does not engage in the repeated checking behavior. So for example, we're starting at 2 minutes that he'll engage in an independent activity of his choice that he can select from his iPad under a free choice activities checklist. And these activities might include watching videos on YouTube, playing a game. Right now he doesn't particularly enjoy, or at least he prefers, attention from adults, so we have our work cut out for us. We'd like to then set a timer for 2 minutes, and if the client is able to stay engaged in that activity and does not engage in the persistent checking behavior, then he can get another 2 minutes of attention from mom. So as the client is able to maintain and persist through those 2 minutes for at least 3 sessions, then we will increase by a minute. I think our eventual goal, and whether that will happen during the course of this semester or will most likely continue through the year, is to get the client to at least 20 or 30 minutes where he's able to actively participate in an activity by himself. once he is out of high school, he may or may not be with mom anymore, and this is one of the reasons why this behavior is so important, that we would like to see the client maintain a schedule and be able to decide what he'd like to do for 20 minutes, and then appropriately gain the attention of family to then spend a few minutes with them. Right now, mom reports that it's very stressful trying to complete any sort of activities, chores around the house, cook, clean, um, while client engages in this repeated checking behavior, because it does cause a lot of concern for her that there is a bigger problem. So she worries that if he's repeatedly asking about his tracheotomy tube, that there may be a problem with it. And also to increase his independence and self-reliance and self-monitoring skills approaching these transitions. So if anyone has any questions, I welcome them, and thank you very much.